All right, first and foremost, I want to say call Haloyim by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Hamashiach. That's all praises to the Most High God in the name of his first begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, right? May the Heavenly Father love and mercy truly endure forever for Israel and Israel only, right? Just as the Holy Scriptures say. It's your brother Yarumbia. Come back at you again, do another Feed the Flock. Um, this topic in particular, we're going to talk about a tragic event that took place in the city that I grew up, in, right? The city that I live in, the city of Philadelphia, right? I mean, the city of brotherly love, right? So they say, right? Uh, I think the murders in Philadelphia at this point, being December, is around about 4:30. I may got look that up again, but nevertheless, to talk about this tragic event that took place in Philadelphia, right? We finna go into it.
There is a small war underway on a street in Philadelphia tonight.
There was gunshots, thousands of rounds of bullets from the police.
Police moved in with tear gas and water cannon.
They wanted to kill our children.
I had recommended to use an explosive entry device.
The house shook.
You heard that? He said, I recommended to use an explosive device, right? And in Philadelphia, which are row homes, right? Homes that's kissing each other, right? That you can hear, a neighbor, yelling at their son, or that you can hear a neighbor fighting next door, or whatever the case may be. This how close houses are. He said, like this that was one of the so-called leaders, right? I went to use a explosive device. I wanted to use an explosive device, right, on a row home house.
Police moved in with tear gas and water cannon.
They wanted to kill our children.
I had recommended to use an explosive entry device.
The house shook. Smoke was coming in, so we knew they dropped the bomb on us.
Police allowed the blaze to burn an hour and a half before calling in firefighters.
I don't care.
Police allowed the blaze of fire to burn for an hour and a half before calling in the fire department. This is the demonic society that we live in, right? And it always been this way, right? This haven't changed. This event took place in 1985, right? That's what, 20, 30, 35 years ago, right? You got people that's younger than 35, that's around about 35, right? So, like, this is not nothing new, right?
Of what they said, there was no justification for what they did.
They done burn up 2 blocks. Explain that.
I never imagined that the government would drop a bomb on a row house in Philadelphia.
It's an embarrassment to the city of Philadelphia.
My name is Ramona Africa, and I was there when the police dropped a bomb on me and my family May 13th of 1985 and killed 11 of my family members. I was there. I was born and raised in West Philadelphia. I went to Temple University and I was headed to law school. But after I met MOVE, I wanted to be a revolutionary. MOVE is a revolutionary organization founded by John Africa that believes in revolution, not in fighting and bloodshed, but true revolution. I joined MOVE in 1979. I was listening to what was happening with MOVE and could not believe that the cops were attacking MOVE the way they were.
Until today, there was a house in Philadelphia filled with people who for years confounded everybody. They called themselves Move and never said what that meant. They tried to live in the city as if it were the forest, ignoring modern plumbing, trash collection, or rat control. They offended the neighbors first and then the city, which ordered them out last year. Today, the city went to move them.
As firemen crawled forward with a water hose, shots rang out.
The Move 9 were 9 of our sisters and brothers who were arrested unlawfully for the murder of a police officer and given a 30 to 100 year sentence.
Last December, 9 MOVE members went on trial for the death of Officer Ramp.
Everybody knew that Move did not kill a cop because Move was in the basement. Officer James Ramp was standing up on street level, and the media said he was shot on a downward angle. So there's no way that Move could have shot him.
Yeah, and actually, when you look it up, the information says that that it was a it's like it that I forgot the term that they used, that it was a controversial, yeah, that's what they said. They said it was a controversial shooting of a cop, right? That's why that it was controversial. And you see how she was saying that the reports said that the cop was shot at a downward spiral, but she said that once the cops came, that they all went into the basement. So if y'all are at street level and they're in the basement, you can only be shot from down to up, not up to down, right? So basically, more than likely, he was shot from one of his own police, because they it said that over 1,000 rounds got shot at that house. So more than likely, he was probably shot by one of his own police. So so one of them don't bear the blame. You might as well bear the blame on these niggas who you fitting to kill anyway, right?
They wear their hair in dreadlocks because they reject combs as symbols of industrialization.
Right. And I don't real quick, I don't I'm not backing everything behind this Move group, right? Because when I look it up, certain things that they was doing, but from my understanding and looking up their history, they weren't a violent group. They had guns, but they weren't a violent group. They haven't been known for committing violent acts, right? Up until this so-called shooting of the police, right? And obviously, of course, I don't agree with the dreadlocks, them having dreadlocks and not using combs, but be that as it may.
Which their back-to-nature philosophy opposes. Their basic goal is to overthrow the present system of government, which they consider to be corrupt.
People thought Move was crazy at that time because of the media.
They spew out obscenities when they talk.
Terrible language.
Rizzo said that he wanted Move out of Philadelphia.
It's amazing that this group has been running loose now for a half a dozen, couple, 3-4 years.
See this slime ball, right? And this is the people that, these type of dudes, right? These Edomites. This is the leaders that our people want, right? Our people want it, and then they want to go around and say, well, it's the lesser of two evils. We got to vote. We gotta cast our vote. We gotta put our names in the pot. We gotta do something. I mean, and stand for something. I mean, how about standing for something and not even being a part of the system? How about standing for something and not putting a Christmas tree up, right? How about standing for something and start doing the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, right? How about stand for something and do that, right? And change your wicked ways, right? How about stand up and do that, right? I mean, not stand up and cast a vote, right? So another man can tell you how to live your life, right? How about stand up and do something for the Heavenly Father, right?
that I know of, and they should have been in prison many, many months ago.
We moved into Osage Avenue because that was our headquarters. It was warm and loving. There was children there. We would take them to the park. That was mainly our day. Some people said we was on the loudspeaker day and night, every day. That was just a lie, probably promulgated by the police along with the media. We were getting along with our neighbors, and nothing was going on. That's why we were surprised and shocked when hundreds of cops invaded our area trying to throw Move out of our home. And this was on Sunday, Mother's Day.
There is a small war underway on a street in Philadelphia tonight. It has been going on all day between hundreds of Philadelphia police and a bizarre back-to-nature group called Move.
Nothing happened all day, but that night, Greg...
Hold up. He said a bizarre back-to-nature group called Move, right? A bizarre back-to-nature group. You see that? Blacks and Hispanics are bizarre, even, sometimes in ignorance when we try to, link back to, our roots. But, white people are not bizarre when they put on kilts and skirts, and then they say, oh, well, I link to my Irish roots, and it's a grown man wearing a damn skirt, right? So that's not bizarre that a grown man could wear a skirt trying to say that he linked back to his roots, being a so-called Irishman and try to claim that Irishmen were manly men and niggas got they panties out, catching a breeze underneath the skirt, right? That's not bizarre, right? That's not bizarre when when white people, want to so-called link back to nature, just a couple years prior, right? During the 60s movement, and everybody was going and getting high, mainly led by the Edomites, right? And they were trying to link back to nature, right? Going and smoking weed and just sleeping outside and feeling free with the earth and being all naked, right? That's not bizarre, right? But it's bizarre when a black and Hispanic want to try to link back with nature, right? It's crazy the hypocrisy that goes on in this society, right? It's crazy, talking about some bizarre, you got a white boy who so-called married a tree, right? I mean, I don't see, people standing out and saying that that's bizarre, right?
Or Sambor, the police commissioner, got on a loudspeaker and said, "Attention, Move, this is America. You have 15 minutes to come out." Well, obviously is America. Gregor Sambor, the police commissioner, got on a loudspeaker and said, "Attention, Move, this is America. You have..."
This is the white man's land, right? You see that? Y'all not gonna do what y'all want. Y'all ain't gonna be separated. And this for all y'all niggas too, right? That go around and try to say, oh, well, I mean, I hear y'all Israelites talking about that this is our heritage and all this, and stuff like that. But, what are we gonna do financially? What are we gonna do to do this and do this? Look at Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? Look at this. As soon as blacks try to so-called or Hispanics try to gather themselves together, right, and try to formulate empires, not really relying on America, this is what happens. They get bombs dropped on them. And how can you be a king in somebody else's kingdom? It's not possible. Like, that's just like you move it into somebody's house. They got a house, but they got an extra room. You move into one of the rooms of somebody's house, but you think that you're gonna move into their house, and through you having a room, you'll end up setting up and becoming the dominant, like the ruler of the house. Right? It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, two people can't rule the same kingdom, right? Two nations, right? It never occurred in American history, and it's not going to occur, right?
15 minutes to come out. Well, obviously we didn't come out because we knew they wanted to kill us. They didn't want to arrest us. They could have done that anytime.
It was shortly before 6 a.m. when police moved in with tear gas and water cannon to evict members of the extremist group MOVE.
When we were in the basement for a while, we didn't feel anything. And then the water started coming down on us. I mean, rushing down on us.
What we intended to do was to create a diversion on the roof of the MOVE compound.
It was hard to breathe. Our children were soaking wet. And then they started with the tear gas.
Tear gas started coming in. We got the blankets and they was wet, and then we put them over our heads and started laying down.
They blew a hole in the house to the left of us to try to come through it to come after us.
What we wanted them to do was to come out of the front of 6221 Osage and surrender.
We tried to get out after that. We tried to bring the kids out and was shot at into the house.
A gun battle erupted.
They shot over 10,000 bullets. So that was their intent, to kill everybody in that house.
I don't think that they should kill the people and their babies. They should find another solution.
After that, that's when the silence was. It was a long interval of silence, and we didn't know what they were doing. We felt comfortable for a minute. And then the bomb was dropped. The house shook. It shook. And then we start feeling the heat and the smoke, which we knew wasn't tear gas. We knew there was a fire in the house. We heard the crackling of the trees that was in back of Osage.
The night skies over West Philadelphia, bright with flames. As many as 60 buildings may be on fire.
I was told, and I saw newspaper issues about people yelling to the firefighters to put the fire out. Why wasn't they putting the fire out?
They dropped a bomb on the house to take care of one MOVE family. One MOVE out, they done burn up 2 blocks. Explain that.
It was all in the newspaper that Sambor told the fire commissioner to let the fire burn.
The fire burned for an hour and a half before police called in firefighters. Tonight, it is unknown exactly how many MOVE members may have escaped the blaze, or how many, perhaps, were trapped inside.
We all decided we was coming out, and we were bringing the children out of the house and hollering to the police, "We're coming out, we're bringing the children out." And their response was gunshots. Birdie was right behind me, so when I decided to come out, I grabbed him. And that's how we both got out of that house, that blazing inferno. Police grabbed me and arrested me and put handcuffs on my arms, even though I was burnt. And they grabbed Birdie and put him in a police van and took him away. I never saw him again. In the hospital, I was looking for the rest of my family to come in, and
that's clear right there. That's clear. You can clearly see that there's burn marks on his sister's arm. Like, she was not lying. She was not falsifying, on this police department. It's clear. You can clearly see the darkness of her arm from up to down, where her wrist is cuffed, and from underneath, it looked like that probably is a J on the left side of the screen of her shoulder, right? You can see the darkness of her shoulder, but in the middle, you can obviously see the pinkness under, because her skin was burnt. You can actually even see it on her waistline too, between her green top and her green bottom, right? So she was burnt and severely burnt. It looked like. And then there's demonic people. They put cuffs on her, and and hauled her to jail instead of trying to treat her for her burns, right?
Nobody came in behind me, and that's when I knew some of my family, at least, were dead.
Philadelphia police this morning continue searching for more bodies in the burned rubble of a West Philadelphia neighborhood.
One by one, more bodies of MOVE members were found in the rubble of their fortress home. The toll now higher than most had expected.
5 children and 6 adults. Nobody was ever arrested for the murder of my family. Nobody went to jail but me. I was arrested. I was the only one put on trial for arson, conspiracy, everything that they did. They charged me with. The jury found me guilty. I was sentenced to 16 months to 7 years. So I did the whole 7 years. I haven't been back to Osage Avenue since May 13th of 85. It was 61 or so houses burnt. It was damaged to the core. The people that lived on there took a while to come back. Some of them never came back.
City taxpayers spent $33 million to rebuild the houses.
The homes that was rebuilt, they had sinking foundations. They got leaking roofs. The electricity was messed up. They looked like project houses. Today, I still have the burn scars from May 13th of 85, and some people have told me, you should get cosmetic surgery. They can take that off. And I'm saying, why would I want to take it off? I want to be reminded. Our significance today is the consistent example of MOVE. Keep fighting. No matter what, because people can look at MOVE and say, I don't want to be in jail for 30 or 40 years. I don't want to die. I don't want to have a bomb dropped on me. But the thing is, you can die any day of the week in this country being killed by police. People ought to take the lesson from MOVE and stand up for what is right.
People do need to stand up for what is right, and they need to stand for Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? Not for no Black Lives Matter movement or so forth like that. I think what she was trying to go into, but be that as it may, though, let's take a look into this past real quick. Right, on this day in 1985. The police department attempt to serve a warrant for members of a black liberation group, MOVE. The group denied police entry into their home. After an armed standoff and gunfight, police dropped 2 bombs on the buildings, which destroyed over 60 homes, killed 11 people, 6 adults, and 5 children, and left 250 homeless. No one in the government was ever charged, right? Right, wicked people that we that we deal with in this society, right? I mean, these nations, and even of our own people too. But that's another matter. The book of Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 4, thus saith Yahweh, my power, feed the flock of the slaughter, right? And that's what we're charged to do. We're charged to come and feed the flock, right? This is why you know who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, right? We know him by Yahweh Shah, right? He told Peter to feed his sheep, right? To feed the flock. This is what we're charged to do. We're charged to feed the flock of the slaughter. Who are the people mainly being slaughtered? The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? So we're charged to come out and feed the flock of the slaughter, right? Or by any means necessary, how to feed our people. You know, now that the Lord got set up, you know, this internet, you know, we're able to feed the flock of the slaughter, via the internet, you know, via YouTube, via, you know, Instagram, via Facebook, via any way that we can, right? We're charged to feed the flock of the slaughter. We're charged to do that, right? To feed our people with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? Verse 5, whose possessors slay them. Who's possessing us? The so-called white man, right? This is why we're forever in debt to him, right? You know, forever, right? We can't ever get out of debt to the white man, right? Because we're his possessions, right? Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. How can they hold themselves not guilty? Because they're set up as the judges, the mayors, the senators, the presidents, the bank holders, right? The world leaders, the world you know, the so-called shakers of the world, right? This is why they don't hold themselves guilty, because they're in position of power to create the law, right? Right? How else can they not hold themselves guilty if this was a fair and just law system, right? It goes to show that it's not a fair and just law system, because they're able to hold themselves not guilty because they created the law, right? And they bend it to their will. They don't even obey the same law that they created, right? Verse 5, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that seldom say, right, wasn't your foreparents sold and sell, right? And they that seldom say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. And that's what they say, right? Bless God, bless America, right? Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not, right? Our own shepherds, our own so-called leaders, right? The so-called Democrat movement, right? Our own leaders, Al Sharpton, right? Jesse Jackson, right? Even to the so-called entertainers, Lil Wayne going around talking about, oh well, you know, I don't consider myself, you know, to be a part of that, you know, because the cops don't do me no wrong. You know what I mean? So he was just counting himself not a part of the of any hardship that befalls black people, because he was saying that it doesn't happen to him. Although he may be a so-called black man, you know, things that happen to regular black people doesn't happen to him. So he was saying that he's not a part of that, right? You know what I mean? So that's what's going on, right? That's what's going on, right? And in fact, let me go here. '73. Right, the book of Psalms chapter 73 and verse 8, they are corrupt, right? These demonic nations, they're corrupt, right? And they speak wickedly concerning oppression, right? They speak wickedly concerning our oppression. But when it comes to theirs, they want us to, you know, to cry, you know, to never forget 9/11, you know, never forget when the British were trying to oppress Americans and America finally got their freedom, you know, never forget. Yeah, I mean, their oppression, but, you know, when it comes to our oppression, right, the Hispanics, right, the Mexicans, the the real so-called Americans, right, the Native Americans, right, the Gadites, the Reubenites, right, when it comes to our oppression, the so-called black man, right, oppression, right, they're not concerned about it, right? It's not related to them. They can't relate to it because it has nothing to do with them, right? This is why. Do that. Yeah, and I know the brother on the video said that 2 blocks got burnt, but as you can clearly see, more than 2 blocks got burnt, right? It's clear. I mean, you see that the bottom part right there, it really looked like 4 blocks because this block, the start block, got damaged. Then it's the 3 main ones, and probably even 5 because the one behind that, the 4th one, right? And probably much more damage than even that. Right, unbelievable, but very believable. Very believable because I mean, Esau was given the sword. He was given the ability of technology on how to kill and kill at massive rates, right? Injure and afflict people on high levels, and they don't hate seeing blood. They actually love seeing it, right? Type of modern day vampires, right? And I don't know why people are surprised. For real. Let me get that. Matter of fact, I don't even know why people are really surprised though when you really look into it. What was it? Yeah, like when you actually check it out, I mean, it's not like cops just started being bad to black people during the 60s. When you check it out, then they got their nerve to use the lily, right? Runaway slaves, right? When you check it out, the whole police system was actually created to oppress the brown and black people, right? Plantation police, Georgetown country, South Carolina, runaway slave patrol, right? They were set up to be runaway patrolmen, right? From a runaway slave patrol, now you're a deputy sheriff, right? Yeah, I mean, so I don't know why people are so so befuddled by it. Like they're so oh well yeah, I mean, it's not that way now. How can a system that could have been built on wickedness, destruction, hatred against another people, all of a sudden, turn around and be upright? No, the whole system has to be knocked down to be reformed, right? But it's not going to be reformed. I mean, so Yahweh Shah is just going to have to come back and knock it down himself, right? And put all these nations in the bondage, right? Chiefly the so-called white man, right? The book of Sirach, the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 10. Verse 10, never trust thy enemies, right? That's what we gotta learn to do, right? And a lot of y'all make me sick. A lot of y'all blacks and Spanish, y'all really just turn my stomach, right? Like Peter Griffin would say, grind my gears, right? Y'all go around and y'all want to try to say, oh, I voted, no more Donald Trump, well, F Joe Biden too, right? F all these Edomites, right? Even the so-called good ones, man, right? And like, it ain't a good Edomite unless he's a dead one, right? Or unless he got a chain on his neck, right? That's the so-called good Edomite, right? You know what I mean? The book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10, never trust thy enemies, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So just as assured that iron is known to rust over time, for sure his wickedness is going to be revealed, right? It's going to be revealed, right? Verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed of him, beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, right? A wipe the looking glass, because you wipe a glass because it's a little bit foggy, right? You can't really understand, what's behind it. You know what I mean? So watch when you see what's behind it, and wipe the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away, right? The Lord is letting you know that he's still going to be wicked. Like, even if he put up a barrier to show how nice he is, once you just wipe away the fake smile, right, you'll see that they still are wicked people, right? Let me go here to verse 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he shall stand in thy place. Never let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, right? And remember the Lord's words, man. You know what I mean? Like, and this is what we gotta do, man. We just have to turn to the Lord in fear and sincerity, right? Not turn to another nation and like Lamentations say, and hope for hope from another nation. Hope that we can march enough for them to leave us alone. Hope for them, to do this, or do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's being shown in the last days that these are the children of the devil. Right? It's what I shed over down. I'm gonna end with this. Where is it? Oh, slow here. Right, the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Right? So we gonna keep doing the work of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, you know what I mean? Because we know that the white man's spirit ain't upright, right? We know it because it's thus saith the Lord, right? You know what I mean? And I hope brothers and sisters definitely, was edified. You know what I mean? And we gotta turn to the Lord in fear and sincerity, right? And not be captivated to be a possession, not be so hyped to be to be friends with a possessor, right? You know what I mean? So with that, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to the Most High God for giving me wisdom and understanding. I mean, until next time, I bid shalom.